Well, good morning. Good morning, Neshoba. It feels good to be back. There are few things that Ely and I look forward to more than the Neshoba County Fair. And I want all of y'all to know just how honored I am to have the opportunity to speak to so many God-fearing, America-loving Mississippians. You know, I've been speaking here for over 20 years now. More than 2 decades I've stood on this stage, and y'all have had to listen to me outside in the middle of these Mississippi summers. I'm pretty sure y'all got the wrong end of that deal. I'm not sure if any state official has given as many speeches in this pavilion as I have. And that's something that makes me proud because I love the Neshoba County Fair. Tell you what, here's how we're going to find out. I'll just say it. This speech marks the most times that any Mississippi governor has ever given a speech at the Neshoba County Fair. Now, if it's not true, we all know that our friends right here in the unbiased media will fact check me and say I lied. So please do so and let me know. Honestly, I'm just a little bit curious. Now, y'all all may have noticed that things are a little bit different this year than they were last year when I stood on this stage. And of course, I'm not just talking about the fact that a bunch of out-of-state Democrat operatives aren't running around here like they were last year. By the way, I'm so glad that all of them are stuck working for Kamala Harris now. You know, when all of them come back in 2027, we are all going to get to beat them one more time, and won't that be fun? But I am not talking about that. I am not talking about that. What I'm talking about that's a little bit different this year is that since I stood on this stage, the fact is we've announced over $15 billion in new private capital investments in our state. $15 billion. In fact, our great state has been breaking records over and over and over. A few months ago, we secured the largest single investment in our state's entire history with an announced $10 billion in investments from AWS. In one project, $10 billion. This project's going to create 1,000 new high-paying jobs. And these aren't the jobs of the last 50 years. These are the jobs of the next 50 years. And the wages are over $20,000 a year more than the average wage in the state of Mississippi. This is how you drive wage growth for our people. Now, I know you may have heard about Amazon, but you may not have heard about our other home run. We also secured the single largest payroll investment and commitment in our state's history, a nearly $2 billion investment by Accelera by Cummins, Daimler Truck, and PACCAR. It's 2,000 jobs with an average annual salary of $66,000 a year. That's more than $130 million in annual payroll that's going to be paid out to Mississippians every single year. These projects are going to lift wages in our state. Why? Because our economy was already on the move. Before the shovels hit the ground on these projects, we already had the lowest unemployment rate in our state's history. In fact, just this year, the Hattiesburg metro area, the Jackson metro area, had the lowest unemployment rate of any metropolitan area in the entire country. And the Gulf Coast, their metro area, they were number 6 in America. Every single day, we're announcing new deals. Every day, I'm on the phone recruiting more businesses to come to Mississippi with their capital and their high-paying jobs. And I got to tell you, folks, every single day, that job is getting a little bit easier. It's because these victories were no accident. They were the direct product of a conservative strategy and a vision focused on economic growth and on reform. The building blocks of this success were ideas, quite frankly, that were once pitched to y'all right here at the Neshoba County Fair. Now, last year, I talked about hitting home runs for our state. Now, just for some context about those deals that I just mentioned, prior to October of 2022, Mississippi had never announced a project larger than $1.2 billion in our state. In a 15-month period from October of 2022 to January of 2024, we announced not one, not two, but 3 projects in our state that were greater than $1.5 billion. As Donald Trump would say, we're winning like never before. As old Joe Biden would say, that's a big freaking deal. And as Kamala Harris would say, well, just let me stop there and not get in trouble. After all, she doesn't like to talk much about working people. She'd probably say something like, hey, let's ban private health insurance, or let's ban private straws, plastic straws. Look, as I've said, I've given a lot of speeches from this podium. What's the point? Why do we do it every year? Why do we gather under this pavilion in the hot sun to give remarks? And I'll tell you, we do it for a reason. We do it to set a marker. We do it to set priorities and to make promises. We do it so that then we, the people, can hold our politicians accountable for those promises. Last year, I stood on this podium and promised you that this speech last year wouldn't be my last. And thanks to y'all in the 2023 elections, I'm back again. But in 2021, right here from this podium, I called to raise teacher pay. And then working together, we gave our teachers the single largest pay raise in our state's entire history. In 2019, I talked about tax cuts. And then, working together, we delivered the largest tax cut in Mississippi history. Over $500 million returned to you every single year for the taxpayers of our state. That's more money in your wallets, because I believe that you know better how to spend your money than any governmental entity ever will. And we need to continue to work to eliminate the income tax in Mississippi. In 2014, from this very podium, I talked about defending the unborn. Well, Mississippi came together and passed legislation and delivered the biggest win for the conservative movement in my lifetime, the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Now, approximately 200,000 lives are saved all across America each and every year because of a dream that started right here in Neshoba County. In 2012, I talked about the need to improve and to reform our educational system to better provide for Mississippi students. Well, we came together and we did exactly that. And today, even the New York Times refers to it as the Mississippi Miracle. Today, more kids are graduating from high school in our state than ever before, and they're learning more than ever before. That's a result of conservative reforms, and our kids will forevermore be better off because of them. But the seeds of our success started long before we negotiated big job investments, before we cut taxes, and even before we reformed our schools. In my early days serving as your state treasurer, here from this very podium, I talked about the need to balance our budget. After the Democrats who had run our state all the way up until 2003 had run our government and nearly bankrupted our state. In getting ready for today, I did a little research and looked back at a few of the speeches that I've given. And they were almost all in those early days about reining in spending. Under Democrats, the graph of state spending was a curve straight up in the air. It looked almost exactly like a hockey stick. I talked about the need in those early days to bend that curve. And working together, we did exactly that. We got our state to the best fiscal shape we've ever been in. And today, our state is in the best financial shape we've ever been in. And that's what laid the foundation to allow us to cut taxes, to grow our economy, and to invest in our schools and in workforce training. All of this didn't just happen. It wasn't happenstance. We did all of this on purpose. We did it intentionally. We did it with a vision, because that's what leaders do. We say what we're going to do, and then we go do what we say. One step at a time, until outcomes are different from Mississippians from all walks of life. Together, we can move mountains. What starts as a promise right here at the Neshoba County Fair can and will become the policies of tomorrow. It happens when we're willing to fight and put our jobs on the line for the conservative ideas that we all know will work. And that's what I've been doing every day since that very first race in 2003. But I'll tell y'all, I don't want to ever settle for comparing ourselves to our wins of the past. I don't want to just be Mississippi good. I want to set the national standard. And I know that we can. You see, I don't want to just beat our goals for ourselves. I don't want us just to compare ourselves to Mississippi from 2002. Oh no, I want to kick Georgia's ass. I want to beat Texas and Florida and everyone else. And I know that we can. My friends, we can do it. This is a realistic goal. Mississippi can not only recruit great talent, but we can beat our fellow southern states in college baseball. And if we can do it in college baseball, we can do it in education. And we can do it in economic development. And we can do it in economic growth. I know we can. You've heard me say it a lot, even from this podium, but I can say it emphatically today. Mississippi has momentum, and this is Mississippi's time. I'll tell y'all, I've never been more excited or more optimistic about our state's future. But before I get off this stage today, we do need to talk about a slightly more somber subject: the state of our nation. We all see it. We see it at the grocery store, and we see it at the gas pump. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have steered the national economy into the ditch, and we've had to fight every day against their headwinds. Their promises ring hollow to people struggling to get by as a result of their disastrous economic policies. Americans have given so much under the Biden-Harris administration, they really ain't got nothing left to give. This is Joe Biden's America. It's a nation where 2/3 of people are now living paycheck to paycheck. It's disgusting, but it didn't have to be this way. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they did this. And it's on all of us to stand up and to stop them. We all remember when things were different. That's because you really don't have to be that old to remember the economic success we had under President Donald J. Trump. Just a few short years ago, a dollar went a lot further than it does today. The world was at peace. Our border was secure. And my friends, I submit to you today, that's why we need Donald J. Trump to win in November. And that's why I will do everything in my power to make sure he does. Like you, I watched in absolute horror a few weeks ago when a would-be assassin attempted to take the life of former President Trump. Thanks to the grace of God, and only to the grace of God, President Trump survived. I truly believe that that was nothing short of a miracle. And now he's made a strong pick for vice president. J.D. Vance is going to be a valuable asset in this campaign and in helping President Trump govern. His story, growing up in poverty in rural Ohio, the son of a single parent, raised by his mama, and rising to be a U.S. Senator and now a vice presidential nominee. It is inspiring and it is familiar to those of us in Mississippi. It is the American dream in action. And the American dream is worth fighting for. And it's that dream that we must work to preserve. My friends, we need to do everything we can to elect Donald J. Trump in November. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. Talk to people you don't even know at the grocery store, whether they're in Mississippi or Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan. We've got to do more than just talk, though. We got to get out and knock doors. We got to make phone calls. We got to be willing to drive someone to the polls and make sure they cast their vote. Together, we can and we will make America great again, and it starts on Election Day in November. It starts on Election Day, but my friends, I'm here to tell you, it does not end there. When Donald Trump wins, we need to do everything we can to support him and his America First agenda that will put, that's right, Americans first, not corrupt foreign governments first, not special interest first, not lobbyists first, but puts Americans first. Together, we can put American families first again, but it will be dependent upon all of us to step up and serve our country alongside President Donald J. Trump. And I will tell you, and I want all of you to hear this, it doesn't matter where you're from or what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a governor or a cabinet member. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer or a cashier in a checkout line. Together, with our support, Donald Trump is going to usher in a new era of unprecedented prosperity, and all of our lives will be better because of it. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting pretty fired up about this election. Y'all fired up? I'm fired up because I know that with Donald Trump at the helm, we have a very bright future ahead. We keep fighting for our conservative beliefs. We keep enacting conservative policies. We keep improving our schools. We keep making it easier for Mississippians to live their lives. If we can do that, the Mississippi momentum will continue, and America's momentum will return. Together, working together, that's exactly what we're all going to do. Thank you, Neshoba County Fair. It is my honor to serve as your governor, and it's my honor to be back at the Neshoba County Fair. Thank y'all. May God bless you, and may God bless these great United States of America.